Sakamoto Days is an anime based off a manga. It's first and foremost a comedy. This one's on Netflix, and it's a really interesting concept. We're following Taro Sakamoto. He was one of the greatest hitmen in the world. Beginning of the first episode, he cuts his through people like paper. However, he met a very beautiful cashier named Aoi, and she accepted him for who he was, but said he had to retire from the world of being contract killing. So he retired. 5 years later, he's gotten fat. He's got a daughter, and he runs a little shop called Sakamoto. So he's kind of out of the game. However, his past comes back to haunt him. So right now I'm watching 3 episodes a day, so I'll be finished this series soon, but I wanted to do like a first impression kind of thing. This is a very fun series. It's very familiar. The tone is a hodgepodge of a lot of different famous things. There's a little bit of John Wick in there with the world building, and like everyone knows each other, everyone is chummy. There's a little bit of Kung Fu Hustle because Taro is so fast he can catch bullets with chopsticks and like use a piece of paper to cut things. It's kind of like the comedic style is kind of pushed to 11, like Kung Fu Hustle, where like someone could literally, show up right behind you and then punch you in the head and then punch you through like 3 walls, and you'll be okay, because it's kind of like, sort of fantastical in a sense that like people are tougher and more vicious. They're all vicious hitmen. There's a little bit of Assassination Classroom in there because everyone's trying to kill Taro Sakamoto now that he's retired. And there's a little bit of a few other ones in there. One Punch Man comes to mind, all the crazy villains and their transformations. So the first episode is basically just the concept of him retired. However, his old criminal crew wants to put a hit on him. So one of his old work buddies, Shin the Psychic, shows up and tries to eliminate him. And then they become friends. The second episode introduces Lu Xiao Tong. She is the daughter of a criminal gang, and she's being chased by some villains, and they bump into Sakamoto and Shin, basically, and then she ends up becoming a main character. And what I really liked about this series so far is that whenever they bring in a character, it's not just for a one-off. They usually hang around and they're buddies. So now the two of them work in the shop. And then the third episode introduces the main sort of storyline where an organization wants to eliminate him for some reason. So they put $1 billion yen bounty on his head. And then, however, he's supposed to take his kid and wife to an amusement park. So now it ends up being like a protection mission with Shin and Lu trying to protect the family while going to Sugar Park and going on rides and stuffing themselves with junk food. It's kind of like a 3-episode arc, so it's really convenient for me because I'm only doing 3 episodes a night. So that one ends pretty well with a host of different crazy zany assassins showing up. And then the next arc is Lu is kidnapped when she's at the shop alone after a fight with Shin, and then we get more backstory about Shin and how he got his powers, and they go back to the lab where he was given powers and has to fight a host of deadly assassins. So this series is a lot of fun. It's really easy to get into. It's not too serious because it's a comedy first and foremost, but it still has lots of over-the-top action, and plenty of character development for the characters. Every antagonist that they come across has some crazy backstory, but only for a couple seconds. Like one guy has like rocket-powered fists and like throwing bombs, and they even introduce like the psychic abilities for Shin, but other characters can like shape-shift. Some of them can go invisible, so they really push up the sort of the zaniness of the different assassins. It's not just a bunch of people running around with guns and knives. So far it's a really enjoyable series. I definitely will continue and then follow up with that. All right, just finished Sakamoto Days Season 1. I didn't know this at the time, but it was divided into 2 parts. So episodes 1 to 12 was actually the first part, and then episodes 13 to 22 are the second part. So they do a new OP for the second half, and they definitely kick up the series into high gear, for sure. I mean, after the first 12 episodes, they introduce the death row inmates. There are 4 vicious criminals that get freed by the villains in order to cause chaos for the JAA. So Sakamoto gets involved and has to defeat these 4 vicious criminals. Well, not him personally, but in general, anyone on the side of the JAA, like the Order or Sakamoto or any of his buddies, have to deal with these death row inmates. So there's a guy that can crush things. There's a serial killer who's sort of obsessed with watching the light die from people's eyes. There's a woman who can like extend horn protrusions from her body. And then there's a guy who can slash things with a strings weapon. So it's a really interesting second half. Definitely do amp up the action and the way things are done. But I do feel like the season 1 should have ended a little bit earlier, because they around episodes 18 or 19, they have a big attack on JAA, and it's kind of like the big boss battle. But then they keep going, and Sakamoto's got to do another like side quest to get some information on the villain, and they end up doing this crazy exam for another organization called JCC. But then it ends abruptly, of course, because they're caught up to the manga. And you have to remember that anime is created as a commercial for manga. Like, it's not just made to entertain you. It's supposed to get you interested in the story overall, and it works sometimes. Hinamatsuri is one where they only made the first season. They didn't make the second season because they don't, it's not made to basically just to be watched as an anime. They want you to go read the manga and buy volumes or get them from the library. So I might do that with Sakamoto Days. A story's good enough for me to like go to the library and see if I can get some English translation ones that go beyond the scope of season 1 while I'm waiting for season 2 to be animated or written. So overall, Sakamoto Days is really fun. It's action-packed, it's hyped up, it's got some good humor, good action, good characters, and world building. It's a creative mix of all sorts of genres and things we've seen before. A little bit of Kung Fu Hustle, a little bit of John Wick, One Punch Man, you know, all this different stuff shoved together into a frenzy of action and fun. Definitely worth checking out. I definitely enjoyed Sakamoto Days Season 1.